I had a number of symptoms that prompted me to first seek an ENT. After they ran a few tests, they ordered an ultrasound of my throat. And from there, the radiologist who did the read uncovered that it was vasculitis and sent me right to a local rheumatologist there. My first initial reaction was shock and fear. From what I knew, I was a healthy mid 20-year-old woman and didn't have any serious medical issues prior. So I felt very alone, very scared. The fact that my doctor hadn't seen that many patients with vasculitis, right there was a indicator that it was, very rare disease. And I was worried I wasn't going to be able to find help. There weren't going to be answers for me. It felt like a death of an old life in my mind that I no longer had and wasn't given. And I'm just grateful for the family and friends that, did know and did their best to support me during that time. It was about 2 years after my initial diagnosis that I made the decision to move back home to Minnesota. There were a number of personal stressors that were going on in Montana. And when I came back, that was kind of the same thing. I had started a new job, with the stressors. It was the first time that I actually felt pain in my throat and in my carotid arteries, where the disease was kind of residing at that time. But it was about a year after that, so early 2017, that, through a routine visit at Mayo Clinic to just check on things, see how things were going, they noticed that my carotid arteries had severely shut down. I mean, I had 15% blood flow by the time that there was any intervention that was needed. And so I underwent surgery about 2 months after after they realized that. In total, it was about a 13-hour surgery. And I did unfortunately flatline during that surgery. It was for a brief period of time, and they were able to get me back up and running. So preparing for that, it's one of those things where maybe without my friends and family knowing it, that I kind of silently said my goodbyes to them in the event that I didn't make it out. But I do specifically remember the first time opening my eyes, and I had a breathing tube in, but I trying to say I'm alive, and I just remember crying and seeing my mom's face and my dad's face there. In general, I am beyond grateful for the Vasculitis Foundation. I think that's where I've always found the most information about vasculitis, the most reputable information about vasculitis. My perspective on life has dramatically changed. I tend to not take things for granted, maybe as much as I did without realizing it in what I call my previous life. But I really do have a new outlook on life. I actually celebrate two birthdays. So I celebrate my actual birthday, and then I celebrate August 17th, which was my surgery day when I technically did die and come back. And so it's really just finding the small things to celebrate, the small wins, because, it is true that life is not fair, whether someone has vasculitis or they're dealing with something else. We all have things that we have to work through. There always is a little fear that, something is wrong and I don't know it, because that's what happened the first time. I was not aware that anything was seriously wrong. And so every year when I go for my annual checkups, there is that fear that creeps in, but also how fortunate am I that, especially to get care, both locally here and then at Mayo Clinic. The fact is, I'm here and I want to be here. And so while I'm here, I'm going to make the best of it. No matter where you're at, whether you're struggling right now or you're doing well right now, I keep going. And I look at the bracelet on my wrist. It says keep going, and it's a small reminder that no matter what it is, that you just keep going. Keep your head held high, do the best you can, and make the most out of your life.